You're listening to The Other 50%, a herstory of Hollywood. I'm Julie Harris Walker. This is the podcast where I talk to successful women in entertainment and hear their stories. For this episode, I sat with Cecilia Escobar, founder and president of Smart Accounting Solutions. With more than 30 years of entertainment payroll and accounting expertise, Cecilia has held executive and senior management roles for multiple entertainment payroll companies like Media Services and Axium, and most recently, she was the vice president of payroll operations at Entertainment Partners. In between these positions, she freelanced as a payroll and production accountant on major motion pictures and studios for over 18 years. Cecilia is a multicultural client business partner, leading efforts for multicultural diversity in the industry. She has hosted many diversity client events as well as sponsorships to diversity production summits and trade shows. One of her latest pet projects is bridging Latin American film productions with their U.S. counterparts. Cecilia is currently a member of multiple entertainment industry associations, including N.A.L.I.P, Women in Film, and Hispanic Professionals. She has just started a nonprofit called Sandbar Sanctuary, a horse rescue and equine therapy for abused women. With her love of horses, she hopes to help women bond and find a way to heal through therapeutic equine experiences. You can find us at theother50%.com for added features, photos, show notes, and the merchandise. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts and all the podcast places. Now keep in mind this was recorded the last week of September, so we recorded remotely, and any references to recent times may already be outdated. And if we refer to the upcoming election, obviously it hadn't happened yet, so that is the context. Okay, here's my conversation with Cecilia Escobar. Have a listen. What do you do?
I'm a payroll expert in the industry. I consider myself a production accountant, auditor, and all around anything you need help with. I'm the go-to person.
You're also an entrepreneur because you have your own company.
That's true. I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own company that I've been running for 4 years now. And I've also started a nonprofit foundation.
Oh.
So that'll be something new to talk about.
What should we talk about first? Okay, first, what is the name of your company?
The name of my company is currently Smart Accounting Solutions, not related to EP Smart Accounting Systems. We are an accounting shop that handles anything from prep to post to animation to payroll to anything that you need.
All the things. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about your career, because didn't you start out as a production accountant?
I started off in a small boutique payroll company called Axium in the 90s.
We all remember Axium.
Yeah, I started doing extras. It was run at the time with the most amazing woman entrepreneur, Lynn White, and she was a bit of a mentor to me. I was in college and had 5 jobs. And once I started there, I quit all my jobs except for Axiom because I realized accountants can make really good money and they don't have to have their CPA.
Yes.
So that's where I started. And then I went on to Media Services after that as a manager. And then I went into freelancing accounting on movies and then eventually ended up at Entertainment Partners.
Let's talk about some of the movies that you did as a freelancer.
So I've done big monster studio movies, Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, Men in Black 2. I've done Water for Elephants. I've done Eat, Pray, Love. I've done major big movies and also smaller movies. I did a lot of PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson movies at the beginning. I did Magnolia and Punch Drunk Love. So I've done a variety of movies all around, from Hallmark to big studio movies.
So what do you think, because surprisingly or not surprisingly, a big chunk of this audience is production accountants and people in that field. Mm-hmm. So what do you think are some of the most important qualities of someone doing that job?
I think you need to have a really good personality to deal with different personalities that come your way, crew members in particular. I think it takes definitely a skill set to deal with the crew, the cast, the producers, and you have to be balanced in a way. You can't be super aggressive. You can't be super nice. You have to find a right balance depending on who you're dealing with. I learned early on that I thought I had a lot of power. I was dealing with people's payroll, right? I thought I had ownership of this money that I was handing out. And I thought oh, I'm the payroll accountant. I dictate all these rules. And I learned really quickly to humble myself because you don't mess with someone's money and you don't mess with people's family. So I learned really quickly that I need to calm down, take care of people, pay them correctly. If they come and complain, well, they have a right to complain. You don't know what they have going on in their life, and they're there to do a job, and you're there to take care of them. And it's not my money. It's somebody else's money. I'm just managing it. So I learned how to deal with people's personality a little better once I kind of calmed down, let go of the reins, and it's helped me because many people like me working with them. I tend to take care of the crew and I tend to take care of the producer all at the same time.
A couple of other things along this line. How it's a tricky position to be in where you're answering to the producer and you're answering to the studio. Because that's not always the best line of communication and you are stuck right in the middle and need to get everybody's trust. So how do you manage that balance?
So I tend to tell people what I know is the rules of paying payroll. And I will give all the information necessary to each party. How they decide to do with that or what they decide to do with that information, then, I'll take notes, keep track of it, cover my butt, keep notes of everything that's done. And I will cater to the producer. They're the ones hiring me. The studio's hiring me. So I tend to take care of them. And then at the same time, try to be as equal and fair to the crew. But I present all options. Now, how they decide to take action on the information I provide them, then kind of have to play the game of deciding which way to go at that point.
Okay, let's talk about you opening your own shingle. What was it that made you decide to, okay, now's the time. I'm going to have my own company. I'm doing it.
So I was working at Entertainment Partners, and I realized my kids are still young and I can't go back out after Entertainment Partners and be a freelancer because I can't travel. The kids are young. And I decided years back, I wanted to open my own business. I wanted to open a post accounting company, but my kids were a little too small. And I said, why don't I just go back to doing what I had originally decided to do now that the kids are older and back at school. And so I started planning for it, and it seemed to be a lot easier at this point. And the minute I opened the doors, I thought, I'm a little nervous. No one's going to come, And I can tell you the second I opened the door, it was like floodgates. Everybody started coming my way without even promoting myself. So that was the realization that I should have maybe done it a long time ago. And it was really simple. I started it from home, like in my converted garage. So if you look back, lots of entrepreneurs have started that way and been very successful.
Jeff Bezos.
Hello. So I did it and it worked. And I have never looked back and said, why did I do this? It was the perfect solution. I was there for my kids. I was there for my clients. I'm 24/7. Everybody can get a hold of me at any given time. And I could do it all remotely, which is now the new normal. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing this now for 4 years. So going into COVID remote was no big deal for me. But now we have a full office. Now I have an office with 6 little offices and a conference room and employees from my original home-based converted garage. So I have to say it's been successful.
How many people do you have working for you?
I have 6 people and they're all back working even after COVID.
Good. Now, since you're the boss lady, how are you thinking about things like creating your corporate culture and leadership and all of that? How do you think about that sort of thing?
So I'm a big advocate on diversity. So I tend to help anybody and everyone that wants an opportunity. I also leave it very open for everybody who comes to work with me. If they just want to train and learn as much as they can and freelance afterwards, I give them those basic elements of teaching, and then I put them out there on shows that I have connections on. So not only do I bring them in, I train them, and then I help them find jobs if needed. in between, when they're out of work, they're always welcome to come back. So it's a very open office. We have a lot of people coming in and out. We have a lot of students working for us because I like students. I like to let them study and work at the same time. We have a lot of moms. So we have a little bit of everything, and I just leave it very open because I know what I went through. So I kind of want to share the same thing with my employees. So it's kind of a little open environment to do what you want to do with your career and use this as a stepping stone.
And do you also teach classes to the industry?
I do.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So when I started my company, I couldn't find really great employees that I can teach from scratch and figure out if they have the qualifications for what we needed in accounting. So, and at the time, I was finding out that a lot of payroll accountants out there didn't have the skill sets or the time invested to learn the skill sets to be really great payroll accountants. So I decided to put a class together on union payroll accounting in our industry for TV, features, and commercials. And not only did I want to help people learn and help them get onto projects, but I also wanted to identify a couple of gems in the classroom that I could hire for myself. So at that time, they were live classes. We would have them on Saturdays, 6 weeks in a row. Each week would focus on a specific union, and we would actually practice doing the time cards by hand, not digitally, but by hand, because in order to learn the digital systems and what they're doing correct or might have bugs, you will need to know how to do everything by hand first. It became so successful that now my classes are not only my personal classes that I offer to people, but I now teach all Netflix accountants, assistant accountants in the UK, Canada, and US. I have classes for Netflix. I've done classes for Showtime. I've done classes for Sony. So different studios also have me come in and teach their finance staff a little bit of payroll so that they know what they're doing. So it's been super, super successful. And I keep getting emails. When's your next class? When's your next class? So now we do it digitally. We do it through Teams and Zoom. And it's been really successful because now I can reach the UK accountants and the Canadian accountants, where before I couldn't.
Yeah.
So it's been super successful, the classes.
Oh, that's great. That's the blessing of this pandemic,
Yes.
right? Is that
Yes.
The silver lining, I should say.
There is a big silver lining, I think.
Now you've also, and I mean, on the one hand, I'm always so torn about asking women this because you've done. Congratulations, you just got married. You just told me, but you did this as a single mother for a long time.
Yeah.
And even though we never ask fathers, how do you manage it? I'm going to ask you anyway, because I think it's important for women to know how other women do it, right? Because we try so hard to make it seem so easy that we do. And I know that it's not.
It's not easy, but people have asked me all my life, well, even especially when I was a single mom, how do you do it? How do you manage? And I would just tell them, you just do. You find a way. It becomes the new normal. My kids are used to having me work. They know that mom works. And having my own business has made it a lot easier to spend time with them, even while I'm working. But I think I'm giving them a good example for them to become adults, that working is important and it's valuable and it gives them what they get. But at the same time, I sometimes feel guilty that I'm not there enough, or that maybe I come home late and I'm tired and I don't spend enough time with them. But they're so forgiving, and I've had a really great support system with my parents helping me, that it really made a huge difference in my life to have that support system while I was working. At some point, I just stop on the weekends and I just spend extra quality time with them and tell them that it's not all about work and that we do have to find a little bit of a balance. But you do it. You don't sleep very much, but you do it. You know, Julie.
I do know. I know very well. How old are your kids now?
We have now with my new husband. I have a 10 daughter, Emma, and I have a 13 Ryan, and then 14 Luca, and 21 Liam. So we have 4 altogether.
Oh my gosh. Good for
But
you.
mine are 10 and 13, and they're so cute, and they're so helpful now. They come and help me in the office. I bring them here to have school sometimes, and they're super helpful.
Are you at your office now?
Yeah, I'm on my office. Yes.
Okay, so you're going in.
Yes, we're going in. We never really stopped coming in. We reduced our staff. I worked from home Tuesdays and Thursdays, but because we have so much private information on employees, I didn't want anything leaving the office. So I had just maybe 2 people come in part-time, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And it worked. We all have different offices, so we were very safe. And because I work for the studios, I get tested almost every week. So we were kind of being extra safe and able to come to the office.
Yeah, good. What are you seeing in the kind of the production landscape right now? Are things starting to ramp back up?
Believe it or not, we were the first. Our first show out the door was in July. We were the guinea pigs for a reshoot in town. And I got to experience the whole setup for COVID. It was intense. They had some things not figured out yet, but they quickly got it together. And now I'm seeing an explosion out there. Tons of prep happening. Things are starting to shoot. I'm seeing action in L.A. a lot more than I expected. I expected things to kind of wait till the beginning of the year. No, they're going, crazy going. I did hear about a couple of shows that did have some infections and they shut down for a couple of days or a couple of weeks just to get things reorganized. But the projects that I've done 3 reshoots now since July, and they've been completely safe. You're getting used to it. We have to actually go into the studio and work. And I've gotten really used to working with a mask. It becomes very normal, So I think that things are starting to get back to the new normal. And I'm really happy about it because I think people need to get back to work.
What is it doing to budgets?
Crazy high with the COVID expenses, super high. So the budgets are staying the same, and then they're adding an additional amount for COVID. And that's just skyrocketing. It's amazing.
Is there any kind of pattern you're starting to see? Is there some percentage that people are putting on there? Or are they doing line item by line item? And so is it all over the place?
I think you have to, it depends on the budget of the project and how many people you're employing, because that's going to dictate your COVID test, your COVID coordinators, what you need on the set. I did a small little reshoot that wasn't so high because it was a tiny little car chase. So we didn't have massive amount of crew members or catering or craft service. So it all depends on the number of people that you have and the logistics of shooting. Obviously, if you're on a studio lot, it might be a little cheaper because you have things in place on a studio lot, areas to separate people and coordinate lunches differently. But the ones that are shooting outside of the studio lots become a little bit more complicated because you have to find extra space for everything to separate.
Are you seeing the crews coming back? Are they a lot smaller? Or are you also seeing the big 150 people crews coming back already?
I'm seeing standard crews. I have not seen anything different. In fact, catering has diminished. Craft service has gone up because you need a lot extra craft service people coming around to clean and organize things. What I've noticed is that our production staff has increased because now you have the COVID coordinator and the secretary to the COVID coordinator and the safety guy. And so we have a little bit more of production staff, but the crews I've seen exactly the same, not a huge difference, at least through the reshoots that I'm doing. I haven't been privy to any of these TV series that are starting yet, but my brother's on one and he says it's standard, same crew as last time.
How many days a week are people getting tested?
It depends on your job title. Production staff will be once a week. Crew members that are on the shooting set will be every 3 days. I think those that work with the talent are even more frequent. possibly even daily. So it depends on your job title. And that also depends on the type of PPE that you wear. Depending on your job title, you are required to wear a certain amount. We're getting tons of training, which I really appreciate because I've learned a couple new things that I didn't know about, like your mask. The ones with the little vent, not okay to wear. They have to be closed. The scarves that go up from your neck, not okay to wear. You should wear a mask covering everything. So things like that are interesting and new. So we get a lot of training, and that's really great. I get to explain that to everybody else after I get trained.
I mean, how crazy is this world?
I know.
And for the foreseeable future, right? I mean, there's no end in sight right now.
No, but you know what? At the end of the day, Julie, if you think about it, look at all the neat things that have come out of this. I'm not going to talk about the negatives. I'm going to think about the silver lining. People have become more digital. Give it. People have become more digital. How many years did we fight for people to stop using paper?
10.
Now they're forced to do it. Yeah. I am so happy. That is the happiest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because now we don't have those naysayers that would fight it. Now the studio is pushing it. We get to work remotely. We have figured out how to balance life and enjoy life and work all at the same time, wherever we want to be.
Yeah.
The kids being at home from school is a little bit of a pain, but I get to see my kids and know exactly what they're doing at school. Middle school, I think that's kind of cool.
I think it's for good and for bad.
Yes.
I'm watching it happen. I'm like, could you not look at Instagram all during class?
Yes, but imagine they do that there with their phones. Who knows? I think it's a new normal, and it's kind of interesting all at the same time. And even if it does last another year, this is going to create new procedures, new things in our industry that we have not been able to push for years. So
some things we're not going backwards.
No. And how about washing your hands? How great is that? Who knew how important washing your hands were?
That is a welcome change.
I think so, especially since I'm dealing with payroll with people's time cards all day long. Can you please wash your hands?
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about your nonprofit. What are you doing?
So, super exciting. I'm super excited about this. And then people ask me, how do you have time to do all this? And I say to them, I just do. I find the time.
If you want something done, ask a busy person.
We're the best multitaskers around. So for years, I've been wanting to do a nonprofit. My husband and I talked about helping the homeless bring portable washing machines and have them wash their clothes or give them new clothes or have them take showers. We thought about doing portable showers. And every time I would look for something, it was done. And this was back at Entertainment Partners. I had a bunch of ideas. And then he had an idea about taking inner city teenagers and teaching them how to write resumes and dress for interviews and interview skills. And so we had an idea to do that. And at some point we decided we couldn't do it. And I am for those who don't know, an avid horse lover. I love horses. They're my passion. And during this COVID time, when I needed to get away, I would go to the horse ranch and spend time with my horses because it was open. They weren't closed for COVID. So then I decided, here I am donating all this money every year to horse rescues. I donate to a couple that I really believe in here in LA and that help horses and help people. So I thought to myself, why don't I start a horse rescue? So I can't just start a horse rescue because everybody has a horse rescue in LA that has horses. There's many of them. But why don't we use horses for a good cause? And I had always been involved with children and riding horses for therapy. But we decided to not do what everybody else is doing and focus a little bit about a group that is never maybe helped or dealt with. So we're going to do a horse rescue and equine therapy for battered women. And it is a perfect time because of COVID. The increase on abused women have gone up. And not only that, we want to target the Hispanic community who hardly ever gets any support in this kind of area or arena. They might get maybe, a little bit of psychology or therapy, but they never really get exposed to something like horses for therapy.
So how does this work?
So how it works is we are just starting it. It's called Sandbar Sanctuary. We might rescue a couple of older horses or rescue a couple of horses that have been abused. We already have one. We've adopted one already, and she's perfect. Her name is Bridget, and she's 15, and she's being trained right now. And we will use those horses, partner with an abused or battered women group in LA, and have them bring the women to our ranch and either bond with a horse that they feel like they can bond with and use them for therapy. It is an actual practice in the horse community called Igala, which is therapy with horses. And they bring in a psychologist and help the women or whoever you want to use. You could use ex-military people with PTSD. You can use children with disability. And they use that standard equine therapy process to help them with whatever issues they have. But I thought it would be great to focus on women. I mean,
yes, I love it.
So we're going to start it probably in December. It's going to be started. And I already almost have a board together, and I want some strong women in our board that can help promote it and also help us find these groups that we can partner with for abused women, and at the same time help horses find homes and used for a purpose, maybe not just for riding or sport, but used for a practical, helpful purpose.
That's wonderful. How can people reach you if they want to get involved?
So I will be coming out with a huge blast once I get it. Once I finish my nonprofit paperwork, I will put it out there. We'll put a Facebook page. We're going to be local, like near Burbank, which is amazing. So it'll be centralized. It won't be like in Palmdale. We're going to be close to everybody. And we're going to put a website and a Facebook page, and we're going to do tons of social media and follow people's journeys or horse journeys and promote it. And I think it's going to be super exciting. I'm just like, I can't stop thinking about it. On top of all my work, this is my new exciting chapter, I think.
So are you like obsessed with it, and every waking moment you're thinking about it?
All the time. And not only that, my husband's totally into it, which was really surprising because he's not a horse guy or a ranch guy. And he's totally into it. He already did the logo. He already did the webpage. So it's going to be sandbarsanctuary.org is our URL. And what's exciting about it is that I hope to leave, this might be my next chapter that I can leave for my kids as something that they can take over as a foundation. And my daughter's into horses, so I could completely see her being involved, and the boys as well coming to help. So I think it's going to be good for overall, like helping community and helping our children and, helping people get out of these closed environments and doing something that's worthwhile and safe, because horses are big. So you always have 6 feet between you and the next person.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is great. How do you, just listening to kind of your journey as you go along, it seems like you kept raising the bar. The vision keeps getting bigger, right? Mm-hmm. And then you reach that thing, and then the vision gets a little bigger, and then you go for that thing. Is that a conscious thing, or does that just happen as you get there? Then your world
expands. Me. And that's me. I'm thinking, what's next? What's next? What's next? I can't stop still. I can't keep still. I think the way I was built is I can't stand and just relax and enjoy the journey. I have to think of what can take us to the next level, or what can I do to make it better? Or I'm always thinking of what's next. In fact, I'll give you a little other story. COVID happened. I've never been unemployed, ever. I am a workaholic. I don't know what to do with no work. So all of a sudden, I found myself working a few hours a day with some part-time help. And what's going to happen? What if I don't have any more work? What if all this stops for months and I have nothing? So my brain started with, what can I do? What can I do? And originally I thought, well, I'll get a bunch of people to COVID test everybody. And I thought, I'll leave that up to the experts. I'm not into that. So we actually built, my husband and I built and designed COVID safe production accounting trailers. We have 3. And their offices,
Tell me more.
so their offices on wheels, and they have everything you need, including a bathroom and a refrigerator. And the crew can come up to the window from the outside, either to hand you paperwork or to get COVID tested, because they can be used for COVID testing as well. And we built a little walkthrough inside the trailer with a plexiglass, like a bank teller. So let's say a crew member has something private to come talk to us about. They do go through the walkthrough. There's a plexiglass window. They talk to you or hand you stuff, but then you're never exposed. So we built 3 of those trailers, and we have them trying to be rented, actually.
Brilliant. Where do they call to get that?
That one, they just email us at info@saSolutionsinc.com. And they're called comfort trailers because you can put 2 people in there comfortably. They have their own bathroom. They're air conditioned. They have a TV because my husband decided to put TVs in all of them. They run with generators. They have solar power. And they're very small and easily to park anywhere. And you can use them for anything from a publicist, a UPM, an accountant, COVID testers. So we have 3 little, we call them safe comfort trailers that we built, being afraid that I was never going to work again.
I love that. Necessity is the mother of invention. I love the outside window of it all. What a great idea.
Yeah, they have an awning so that you could be safe from heat or rain. And then you can just come up to the 2 windows and your desk is right on the opposite side. And you just talk to whoever you want through the window. You never really have to expose yourself to anybody. So
yeah, that is great. Yeah. Tell me, what is your big vision for your accounting company?
The accounting company is going to I don't need it to grow. I don't need to, I partner with Travana Post. I don't need to be a Travana Post. They're amazing. And she's amazing. And they send me work all the time with payroll. I needed to just be running and help the employees continue to grow in the industry and help us help clients. I would like it to continue to be a training unit with our classes, like definitely a payroll class. What is it called? University or area where people can come and learn. If we grew a little bit more, it would be fine. I just don't need it to be huge. I'm okay with this and having something else that will work together, basically. Yeah.
What do you kind of make of this moment that we are in the world with everything that's going on and how that's going to affect the business?
I think the business has always been really strong. I've never seen such a shutdown or heard of such a shutdown that we just experienced. We have always been successful in the worst times of history. So I think it's going to be a little bit to get used to the new normal and the new procedures, but I think we're going to continue being strong and move forward. I think we're going to continue the way we know how to do film, and we need to entertain people. So it'll continue flourishing. I think it just needs a little of adjustment, and we'll need to figure out how to do things better. And now with digital, more efficient, and then try to cut the budget eventually when we get used to all these COVID things. But I think we're going to be fine. I think it's just going to take a little while to get back into the groove.
What advice do you have for women coming up behind you?
What advice? This is always good. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tell you you can't ask for more, because you can, and you should demand more, and be confident. Don't let them see you cry.
Because we will cry.
We will cry, but don't let them see you. Do it, but behind the scenes, and have a good, positive outlook. Don't come off super strong and trying to conquer everything. Just be positive and join and confident. And I know you have it, and you will succeed. It may be painful, but keep trying, because you will get there. You could see it in us. We've been there. We've gotten there, right, Julie?
We've cried.
Don't let them tell you you can't, because you can always do anything you can put your mind to, and you could do it better than anybody else.
What did I not ask you about that I should have asked you about?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think we just have to get used to the new normal and keep moving forward and enjoy life, because we never know what can happen.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cecilia. It was so fun to catch up with you.
I know. You too, Julie. I love it.
You've been listening to The Other 50%, A Herstory of Hollywood. I'm Julie Harris Walker. I'd like to thank Cecilia Escobar for sharing her story. And special thanks to Jay Rowe, Danny Rosner, and Allison McQuaid for the music. Please find us on your favorite podcast provider and leave a review. And of course, on our website, theother50%.com, all spelled out, for added features, bios of our guests, and the merch. It is not too late to order yourself the Other 50% coffee cup for Christmas. You can also follow us on all the social media platforms. Thanks for listening. See you next time.